Hello, everybody. This is Magnum Pi. I'm here with Dark Templar, Vahilo, Teku, and Golgotha, and we are Initiative Zero. And this is the second story in the Second City Chronicle, A Tale of Two Cities. And it's not time for some more Chronicles of Darkness. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed and you've been watching us for a bit, or you just watched this one and you like it, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications when our next episode comes out. And we would love to hear from you in our chat down below or in the Discord. Just come chat with us, hang with us. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. And we're just going to continue on with the Chronicles of Darkness here with this story. And when we last left, some of you guys were searching around Karen's house, trying to find her, trying to find some clues. And Grayson, you had found out some interesting information about those two people that you saw in the upside down of the library, right? That other world.
I did indeed.
Yeah. And so Christopher, Vinnie, and Elliot, where are you guys heading off to? You agreed to help Volcus, her uncle, and you got some clues. Where are you heading off to?
We're going to come back to investment shop. Given that it's a safe kind of spot that we can kind of game plan our next move.
All right. Yeah, the shop is a good spot. Cool. So you guys are driving back in that direction, and Grayson, you were saying that you wanted to contact Christopher.
Yeah, I was gonna send him. Yeah, give him a call.
Okay, cool. So as you guys are driving back, Christopher, your phone rings.
I will pick it up.
All right. It is Grayson.
Yep.
Oh, hello, Christopher. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. Actually, I had something to talk to you about. Our encounter in the library. You recall the? I don't think it's hard. I think it's hard not to recall the football player and the cheerleader.
Yeah, we're going back in time now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's been on my mind since, and I continue to investigate it, and I've got some more information. I'd like to share it with you. Where are you going to be at?
We're heading over to the shop, but I think after a bit of discussion, I might be heading over to the library. I've got a bit of reading to do. So, I mean, whichever's kind of closer for you works. And I mean, I don't know what your schedule is like today. So
what time is it about now?
Gosh, it was late. It was in the afternoon. It was in the afternoon when they went to Karen's house.
When we started. Yeah.
It was about 3:00 in the afternoon. Yeah. So you guys probably spent some time digging around. So it's probably about 4:30-ish as you guys.
Well, I'm finished my lectures. Finished my lectures for the day. I had a little bit of research I was going to do tonight, but that could actually wait. I'm actually ahead of schedule, believe it or not, on my next book. I will come and talk to you. Where do you think of the library?
Yeah. Well, we're heading to the Vinnie's shop now. So if you want to come and meet us here, we can just head over to the library from there.
Well, I might as well. Yeah, actually, since I'm done, I'll drive over.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks. See you soon.
Yep, see you.
Cool.
And I'll let Vinnie know what that conversation included, just so he knows to expect them.
All right.
Because he's pretty nice to visitors.
All right, sounds good. So you guys will convene at Vinnie's place, and Grayson will join you shortly thereafter. He's just a little bit further away. You guys are in Vinnie's shop. Take it away.
All right. So, what did you guys find when we were over at that house? What were the clues that you guys found?
Well, I was on the computer, and I got some information about a person she was, I guess, having a conversation with.
Oh yeah, like you know who that person was?
I don't. I wrote down the email, but I don't know who exactly it is.
Why don't you try sending that person an email?
Yeah, I think that's something I will do.
And so I'll just like take my laptop and turn it around and kind of put it in front of Elliot.
Okay.
Christopher, what did you find?
I had actually I'd been talking to her uncle, and I mean, cryptic and mysterious as he might have been, I figured out what drove Karen to run, and it's kind of bringing some pieces of a larger puzzle for me and Elliot together now.
For what drove you to run?
So, Karen's mother was murdered.
Yep. Oh, that.
That's what
Find out by who?
That's what made her run, and her murder apparently
Is that woman that we found in the alleyway?
Yeah.
Parking lot. She looked really dead, but apparently she wasn't dead.
Yeah. Her uncle referred to this woman as just a monster, and I don't know that he was using cute wordplay.
Yeah, it's not like LeBron while playing basketball is a monster, like an actual like raw monster.
And Christopher's gonna stand looking just as confused about that reference as I would in real life, and be like, "Yeah, sports."
Wait, what year are we in? Sorry, is LeBron a person yet?
It's 2000. It's 2006, March 2006.
I mean, he's literally a person that exists. In
So I could stand there.
He's like crushing. He's like
He was drafted in 2003. He was playing for the Cavs at that point.
That's true. That's true.
Right
That's true.
right out of high school, he was drafted in 2003.
That's true.
Hammer. Anyways,
Look at us with the
He
basketball
was the
facts.
NBA Rookie of the Year in 2004.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah.
He's a big deal.
So there you go.
So anyway, it's gonna go and do a little digging into that, I think, because something's really not adding up to the conventional sort of mindset. There's something not right about this.
What would you be digging out, though? I don't understand. Like the history?
I'm gonna go, and this is weird, but you kind of got my attention when I first came across you, wandering through the werewolf section. And I mean, I've read a lot of books, a couple of adult books. What happened to her and what she seems to have recovered from? I'm quite positive there's a couple supernatural explanations for that. I'm not gonna marry myself to the idea yet, because I'll be honest, it doesn't make a whole ton of sense. But there's been some stuff that even Grayson and I have been saying just don't add up at all. So I'm just gonna do a bit of light reading, cover our bases here. Because I mean, that Mason guy was something else.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'd rather be informed, at least, before getting into something serious, and she strikes me as something serious.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, Elliot, I mean, how are you doing with all this? Because, I'll be honest, I don't really know your dynamic with Karen. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's pretty obvious that, you know, you care about her and you're loyal in this way. But I don't know your relationship to her. I don't know, like, do you guys go way back? Like,
Nope.
Is there anything you can tell us about her?
I met her at a one day she walked into a I can't even think right now. She walked into a shelter, and we chatted, and that's it. That's literally it.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. You seem, to this point, really protective of her.
Yep. I told her I would protect her.
All from having just met.
When you have nothing, anything's better than nothing. I wouldn't expect you guys to understand.
I mean, when you put it that way, don't get me wrong. It makes sense, I suppose. So, yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Elliot, I got a question for you.
Yep.
We know how Karen ended up on the street. Like, we kind of figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up on the street?
yeah.
Oof. I think that's probably a discussion for another time. How's that? It's not something I really like to talk about too often. But let's just say I'm a sad story.
Okay, so this is where this game has a unique way of resolving things. If you guys want to push it, you can leave it because Elliot doesn't want to talk about it. But you can try to socially maneuver Elliot into talking about it. It's up to you guys if you want to pursue that or not.
Yeah, I want to pursue that.
Okay, so I'm just going to share something with you.
I don't know.
You don't have to. If Vinnie wants to pursue it, he can, and Christopher doesn't have to.
He's 16 years old, living in the shop of a garbage truck.
Like your position is a bit different than mine.
And he's being paid cash under the table by me.
Yeah. Like you're
17.
more directly involved than Christopher is, I suppose.
Yeah. Like, I know nothing about this kid, and I'm taking risks.
Mm-hmm.
So DT, you're about to say something.
I'm 17, not 16.
Okay, 17, whatever.
Important details. And don't you? I think you have a place now too. Don't you have a daughter of resources?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, because I keep paying them.
that's right. Okay, so
I'm
I shared
looking for you.
that.
It's free.
I shared that with you guys, and I just pulled it up here for our viewers. So this is social maneuvering. If you guys want to take a look at the social maneuvering system in more detail, I made a Magnum's Musings on this particular thing there. You can check it out at our YouTube channel. But yeah, this is kind of how it works. So this works for both NPCs and PCs, and the cool thing is that when it works with PCs, if they still have the choice to not give in, but they have to kind of give up something, right? They have to give you something anyway. So we'll work through it here. So Vinnie, you still want to do this, and so here's what you got to do: is you have to state what you want from the target. What is it that you want from Elliot?
I want to find out how he ended up to be living on the street.
Okay, you want to find out how he ended up living on the streets. Okay, so then we determine the scope, which is the number of doors. That's the amount of resistance Elliot has to you finding this out, right? And so, Elliot, what's the lower of your resolve and composure?
Same, 3.
Okay, so 3. Would this cause a breaking point for you? Is it one of the things that you kind of wrote down on your background? Does it have a lot to do with those breaking points? You know, if you had to recount this to somebody else, would it basically be something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I definitely would not want to talk about it.
Let's just take a look at your bio and info there, right? Oh yeah, so many of your triggers, right? So many of your triggers are caused by this. So yeah, it would definitely cause a breaking point. So that adds another 2 doors. So that's 5 doors. It wouldn't prevent you in resolving an aspiration, would it? If he knew?
Me?
Yeah, if he knew.
I don't
think so. Looking at your aspirations, it wouldn't prevent you from if he knew why. Likewise, your virtue is not going. He's not opposing your virtue, or it wouldn't oppose your virtue for him to find out. I don't think.
My virtue is loyalty.
Okay, so
I'm manipulating you, is he?
No, he's just flat out. He's pushing. That's all. He's not asking you to be disloyal, right? So, okay. So, and yeah, so away, right? And Vinny, you've really offered nothing. You're just trying to find information, right? You haven't really offered anything here. What would you say that the level of impression is between you guys? I would say it's probably pretty good. You guys have a good impression of each other, right? I mean, you must trust each other to a certain degree. It's been a few months, right? Your relationship has at least been.
Like I've let, like, even on the first night that I met him, I let him stay in my shop and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And stood up for him with Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say that it's above average? Would you say you have a good reputation, an excellent reputation? Usually what happens is that to get from an average reputation to a good reputation, you have to role play something. An excellent reputation comes from a successful social role, and then a perfect impression that comes from basically doing something extraordinary. So I would probably put you guys at good, because most of this has come from role playing, right? So you guys have a good reputation or a good impression of each other, right? You generally see each other in a good light. You aren't best of buddies because you still don't know a lot about each other, but you've got a good working relationship and you've been taking care of him. So we'll put it at good, which means that you get to make one roll a day on this particular topic to try to open up doors. Okay. So, so you can change that. You can, in your attempt to try to get the information, by offering temptations toward Elliot's vice, like, "Hey man, come on, I'll give you blah blah blah," right? Or some sort of soft leverage, like a gift or a bribe. That's another way of doing it. So, essentially,
Can I offer him does he have his driver's license?
Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
Does he have the one that would let him drive these trucks?
I doubt it.
I'm 17.
Can I offer him kind of like, getting him some help on training how to do these trucks, and then a promotion to driving the truck?
Okay, so what that would give him then? Yeah, so basically when you do soft leverage, you're kind of giving him use of your merit for a time, is usually what it is. Right? One of your dots of merit for something.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you could give him a bonus by giving him another dot of resources. Or you could, you could give him access to staff, or you could give him access to the safe place, right? That sort of thing.
Well, yeah, like if he had access to the safe place, like that's where, like, he'd come in for his shift at night to get the truck, and he'd, do that, and then he'd have access to it the next morning, to bring it back and all that kind of stuff. So he'd have like an opener to get into the yard and to get into the garage. Yeah,
that's possible, right? But he has to agree to accept that, right? So you're right, and how long does he have access to it for? Right? How long you're giving that merit dot to him for how long?
Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, if it's a promote, like, like a work promotion, theoretically, wouldn't he have access to that?
Well, it's
any time then, just because everybody else has it at any time, or?
Yeah, I don't know if any of your merits that you can give him is a work promotion, but you could give him that. You could just give him the dot permanently and then buy the dot back at the end of this story if you wanted to. Right? So that both of you would have a dot and he didn't have to pay anything for it. That would be, that would be like you giving him a key to the place, But
and that's basically what I would give him.
Okay, so if that's the thing, what you're offering him is to have that dot of safe place. It comes off your sheet, goes onto his.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah, that's how it works mechanically. So basically you're gonna give him, what that would do is improve your impression, right? So that means every hour you get to make a roll to try to break down a door. Okay. So do you accept that offer, Elliot?
Of what, him giving me access to the place?
giving you the safe place
daughter,
merit.
daughter safe place.
Sure, why not?
So then I can roll more often to try and break down doors.
Yeah.
You know, I wanna give you more responsibility at work, but I don't know much more about you. You know, I want to know that you're not just going to rob me blind. And so it's basically like if you don't have much trust in me to you know, be honest with me as to, you know, a little bit of your history, then I don't have much trust in you to give you some responsibility here. Maybe give you some keys or, you know, openers, to give you a truck and you know, give you that responsibility of driving a truck and maybe getting some more money.
No, I get you. I don't understand why to do with trust, though. Like, I trust you. I just don't want to talk about my past too much. It's really kind of shitty, that's all. You understand? Like, it's hard for me to talk about it. It has nothing to, like, I'm a criminal. Like, if you trust me not to be a criminal, then you can trust me not to be a criminal. Like, I'm not.
So most people that you know, get put on work, like, you see the guys that are working here, right? Like, you know, I mean, I started out here, you know, as a kid when I was working for my dad, and I was, you know, slinging boxes and cleaning trucks and everything like you're doing right now.
And what did your dad
do? He was the boss.
Yeah, but what did he do? What was his job?
He did what I do.
And
he wanted out of the business.
So he only did it, like, you know, waste management, you're saying?
Yeah. Then he wanted to retire. He wanted out of the business, so he sold the business to me. And but you know, I worked my way up. I drove the truck. I cleaned the trucks when I was your age. And all these people that are working here have been here for a long time. And you kind of know how it works. And this is why Freddie T was upset with you working here, because everything else is kind of a reference. People saying, hey, you know, hire this guy, and it's people that I trust making recommendations on who to hire. But, you know, you show up and, you know, yeah, a lot of guys are upset that I just give you a job without knowing a whole lot about you.
And I'm really thankful for that.
So you guys talk about it for sure. You do make him the offer. Look, I'm going to give you access to this place, right? It's not conditional. It's not conditional on him telling you, right? It's so much as, like, you know, you're doing it out of good faith, sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I do want to know more about you. So, Elliot, you accept this gift of access, the safe place?
Sure.
Cool. So I want you on your sheet then. We're just gonna toss.
I said yes, sure.
Yeah. So on your sheet then, you're going to add a merit called Safe Place for 1 dot. And Vinnie, if you want to take that off your sheet. And Vinnie's impression...
I'm going to leave Safe Place there, and I'll just buy it back next time.
Yeah, you can just reduce it down to 0.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all good. So it's Safe Place Garage, Elliot. And right. Cool. So now during this conversation, you're going to get this initial roll. What are you trying to do to open up some of these doors? Okay. So if you're successful on this roll, you open up a single one of his 5 doors. If you're exceptionally successful, you open up 2. If you fail, subsequent rolls are at a -1, or you can lower your impression back to good and you can take a beat. If you dramatically fail, the social maneuver fails utterly. You just can't pursue this anymore. So, what is it that you want? How do you want to go about? What sort of skills do you have that you want to go about using to break down these doors?
So I'm thinking that I want to use. I was kind of thinking a little bit of, like, I don't know if it would be manipulation. I guess manipulation, maybe like composure.
It is
just like a calm, relaxed conversation.
Yeah.
And then that would kind of go with my, with a little bit of persuasion.
Yeah. So it is. So manipulation isn't manipulation in a negative sense. It's just that you are using finesse to work a social situation. You're not using your presence, right? You're not using the weight of your charisma. You're actually using articulation and things like that in a social situation. So, manipulation, and if you wanted to use persuasion is convincing somebody, right? If you're appealing to his sense of, to the sense of camaraderie that you guys have and stuff like that, that would be more empathy, that sort of thing. If you're just trying to be kind of friendly and chummy, right, trying to demonstrate that you can be trusted, that's kind of socialize, right? So it depends what you're trying to do. Other things that you can do to break down doors are do things for Elliot using other skills that would win his favor, right? So, for example, if you used something like intelligence plus firearms to teach him how to use a gun or something like that, and be like, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you access to this place, and I'm going to teach you how to defend yourself or something like that. So, but right now it sounds like you want to just do that social interaction, right?
Yeah. Like you said, it was, if I kind of want to appeal to his like emotional side using empathy, I could do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Could I just put on like a false? Could I use more subterfuge and put on like a false empathy?
Well, subterfuge is kind of concealing your motive. Like are you trying to conceal your motives, or are you trying to appeal to his sense of?
Trying to find out, but if he's wanting, if I'm kind of putting on a false sense of empathy, like.
Well, that would still be an empathy.
Why wouldn't you just empathize with me?
Yeah.
I don't understand why you need to fake it. Why wouldn't you just want to empathize with me?
Because I have more dots and other things.
Yeah, but be motivated by the character.
Yeah, think about what your character is, right? If you're trying to actually befriend me to get to really know me rather than be, a cunning liar, then it's not really about the actual dots you're getting. It's more about whether you want to do it or not.
And don't forget, you might just suck at this sort of thing, right? You might really, Vinnie might just not be really good at appealing to people on an empathic level, but if he really wants it, that's when he's going to spend a point of willpower, right? And this is going to
manipulation.
Yeah, and it's going to be resisted by Elliot's composure. What's your composure again? 3?
3.
Yeah, so reduce it by 3. So that's what your total dice is going to be there. 1 single success gets you a single door open. 5 successes will give you 2 doors open.
Here we go.
All right. So so that means that now you have a penalty of -1 in the future. So it might be possible or you reduce yourself back down to good and take a beat. But good means you get to have 1 roll every day as opposed to 1 roll every hour.
Right. I'll do that. I'll take a beat.
All right. I will give you a beat. And so you're not at a penalty, but your impression is now down to good, which means you have to wait till tomorrow to make another roll to try to open up one of his doors. So there's no more discussion on it today. And that's just kind of how it goes. So for a little while there, the conversation switched from talking about the clues to finding about Karen's whereabouts to more about Elliot's past, as Vinnie's kind of trying to convince Elliot to give him a little bit more information. They kind of go off to the side. You see him hand him some keys, things like that. Like, look, man, they have a conversation. That leaves Christopher and Grayson possibly off in the break room or something like that, or out in the main garage area to talk.
All right, now, Christopher, I said I was going to show you what I found. So I brought the yearbook with me.
Yeah.
So, and I'll turn to the page where the caricatures are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show it to him. What do you think of this?
So, sorry, explain to me exactly what I'm looking at here.
So what we see here is a caricature drawing of a typical cheerleader and a typical football player, kind of like the stereotype, essentially, like all caricatures are. Um, these people don't actually exist in real life and never did.
But
Exactly.
so, okay.
No, I'm as befuddled as you are. Again, these people don't exist and never did exist, and yet
Yeah, but
we clearly
that
saw
whole
a very
that
large.
whole
Yeah,
that whole space didn't exist. Like it's almost like there was a world outside of our world, if that makes any sense. Because
no, yeah,
in no normal world do you crawl through a vent at night in a library in a snowstorm and end up outside under bleachers
I was going to
in
say
like spring.
if it's a wardrobe, maybe.
Listen, Narnia, we're gonna rein that in.
Why?
Just
No, 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 no. I'm kind of serious in a way. Um, again, obviously that's fictional, but
well,
is
this
there?
kind of it's it's not the fact that it's fictional that's throwing me off. It's the fact that
What
it's
I'm
almost
what I'm
supernatural is
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm
what I'm
getting to.
what I'm saying is that, and I'm agreeing with you, is that while Chronicles of Narnia is fictional, maybe it's not as fictional as we might think. Maybe C.S. Lewis had a similar encounter or something. I don't know, but obviously there's something that is of that world in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not just that incident that I'm leaning toward sort of the supernatural or the
Oh,
occult
you
here.
mean the guy that was filled with rats and was attacking us, or the fact that we've got a book that apparently people read differently, or the fact that you were just talking about that young woman who has is healing in weird ways. Yeah, I think I'm on the same track as you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to go do some digging into because if we're looking for Karen, right? Like we seem to be lining up that way. We should really know what it is we're dealing with as best we can. And
Absolutely.
and so I mean, and what's funny about this, when we first followed Elliot, as strange of a sentence as that is to say, we went right through this werewolf section, and it got me thinking, like, just all of these folksy sort of or supernatural stories, they all came from somewhere, whether or not they're true. But now we're starting to see things which sort of line up with this. So I'm starting to think that there might be a bit of reading in my future.
I'm a professor of history, Near Eastern religions. We read about this stuff all the time. I'm certainly a skeptic, but not a disbeliever that things could be happening. And
Well,
obviously, we've seen
that's
some
just it.
encounters that suggest that something is.
It's easy to be a skeptic until you
No,
start seeing what we're seeing.
yeah, and I'm going to stress my skepticism is prove it to me, and right now things are being proven.
Yeah.
So
So,
you are interested in determining whether or not our dear young woman is a lycanthrope,
well, not necessarily. I'm not gonna. That does seem a little on the nose and convenient,
or how
but
about the woman that was lying on the ground, apparently according to Elliot,
well, that's
bleeding out?
it, it, no, no, no. She wasn't bleeding out. She
Oh,
had done that.
well, that makes it
We
worse.
were past that point, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now, because she, according to Karen's uncle,
It was a
is
monster.
part of a group or a family that is in some sort of a blood feud with them. It's a whole thing, and she is again a monster. And I don't think he's using that language playfully. I think there's,
Something to it.
at least from his opinion, a legitimacy to the claim.
Well,
I bluntly asked him, and he wouldn't get into any sort of specifics with me.
well,
So,
well, yeah, and of course, one of the perspectives I have is that while whether it's true or not, he believes it to be true, and of
That's it.
course that's important. And we need to determine, what we're dealing with.
Yeah. And so what I'm thinking is, after this, like we got together, we shared what we found at uh, Karen's former residence, and I might go and just sort of shut myself in and do a little bit of reading here.
Well,
After the fact.
I've got time. If you're interested in some help, I can
I am
certainly help.
not at all against that. That's kind of what I've been steadily building to. I
Just
mean,
ask. I mean,
every time I go off on my own, I get into trouble, it seems. So
well, to be fair, the last time we went off alone together,
don't remind me.
well, yeah, that's true.
But,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd be pleased to help.
all right. I did want to pick your brain just because, again, this is sort of your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
somewhat. I mean, I don't really deal with the occult or supernatural, but I mean, I do deal with religion, Near Eastern religion primarily. They have certainly some myths when it comes to, I guess, do you
even,
use specifically werewolves and were
yeah, even,
creatures?
even just to determine a starting point to start reading, because if we walk into the occult section and say, hey, we're looking for books on the occult, that's really going to result in just vague gesturing at everything around us.
Well, the beautiful part about this is that you're a librarian, and I presume we're going to go to your library.
Oh yes, but again, being able to start to narrow things down is helpful. So even
Hmm.
a rudimentary understanding of what it is we're going to be looking at is going to be helpful
Oh,
because
yep, I agree.
yeah, it'll speed things along just a bit.
I gotta tell you, when I was doing my postgrad work, I never thought I'd be looking at werewolves and determining whether or not rat people were real.
Yeah, I don't really want to get into the concept of rats at this point. It's it's been a couple of months of trying to unpack all that.
Well, I mean,
I
it
mean,
did try to eat my face.
let's not even get into flying cars and
What?
oh, and I'm gonna throw my hand over my face and start sort of massaging my temples as best I can.
Wait, no, sorry, what? Flying cars? What?
And I'll just kind of look at him blankly and your car.
Yeah, it flipped. I mean, it flipped over. It hit like a curb or something. It must have hit a curb or something.
And I'm gonna spike an eyebrow here and say,
What?
are you serious?
Yeah. What? Yeah, yeah. It was stolen. Well, it must have been stolen, and it got flipped. Well, I mean, I drove it obviously, and then Vinnie drove it, and I think he must have hit a curb or something and just kind of flipped over.
I mean, the the
I mean,
physics of that,
I guess it kind of flew. I guess it kind of flew, and hey,
the physics of that aside, you don't remember anything to do with Mason? Maybe you didn't catch it.
well, we were fighting for the book.
All right. So, and this is where I'm going to say, is Christopher going to try to convince
See,
Grayson that it actually happened?
I'm not sure because at this point he just agreed to help me with a line of research that I'm interested in. And this isn't the overly browbeaty sort of character. This is kind
Well, you
of
don't
a
have to
more,
browbeat him. You
Well,
can you
yeah,
can
I
just
don't,
convince him.
yeah,
Like you could like logically try to
yeah,
science him into
yeah.
like
yeah. I take you.
that would be
I'm
like
already.
manipulation plus, or sorry, yeah, it'd be, sorry, intelligence plus science to like reason with him.
Yeah, I might go that way then because at this point, like Chris is just befuddled at the fact that you're saying hitting a curb is going to
Yeah.
send something careening off
So
into
how
space.
badly do you want to convince him? Do you want, is it willpower worthy?
I wouldn't think so. This is more just sort of
Why don't you remember
like
this?
a spur in conversation where it's like,
Okay.
how are you seeing this differently than I saw it?
Yeah. So intelligence plus science minus what's Grayson's resolve?
My resolve is 2.
Okay.
-2.
Yeah.
Nope, not -23. That is going to be a lot.
Yeah. So you,
nearly.
yeah, you're not able to articulate it enough. You just keep repeating that it's physically impossible. Don't you understand physics? It's physically impossible. Like, just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the two.
I don't want to get out a whiteboard and have to, explain this.
It's the two social science guys that are trying to, convince each other of
vaguely
science.
explain numbers.
Hands are waving, and
Oh my God! Yes, I can see it.
Like, are you speaking Esperanto to me? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's you try, to no avail, and Grayson, you are not in any way convinced to the point where you doubt your own memory of it. But had he convinced you, you would have to make another breaking point check. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep trying to do that later on. So
No, that's. I don't think that's. I don't think that's a great plan. You're not understanding. On behalf of players that keep rolling breaking points, don't play that game. That's not
no. I want it, man. I want it.
Oh.
All right. So
I'm gonna
shake my fucking world, man.
Chris is definitely gonna make note of the fact, Jesus, that. Wow. That you just went for it. You went right for it.
That may not have come across the way I was intending.
And yet,
that was almost Tom Cruisean. Go for it.
Just do it.
All right, and so Vinnie and Elliot come back after their conversation.
Chris is gonna make note of the fact that there's just such a stark contrast in memories, and then move on with his day.
All right, so you guys reconvene after your side conversations.
Okay. I'm gonna hit that laptop and look at that email a little more closely and see whether I can fish out, maybe who this person is, or write an email back so I can kind of maybe.
Yeah. So the clue that you had found was that she had checked her email recently, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. So you could fire off an email to her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to Karen.
Will do.
Yeah. Cool. So you compose an email to her. What do you want to say in that email?
I'm just a little worried about where you are. Sorry I'm sorry that you took off like that. There was that woman in the alleyway. What's going on? Where are you?
All right. Cool.
Elliot.
Cool. So you send her an email. All right. All right. So there you guys are.
So, am I a little put off by this conversation that I've had with Vinnie then?
He didn't quite make a success, and your the reputation declined again back to good. So
yeah,
whatever shine came from him giving you access to the place, he rubbed you the wrong way, and it just fell back to where you guys were before. So you're no worse off than you were before you guys had the conversation, but he's no better off. You guys are no better off since he's given you the safe place. So
fair enough. Now, as we were talking, I did ask whether that's all his father did, was this waste management thing. Can I check to see if he was lying on that?
Sure, it'd be wits plus subterfuge. Vinnie, you were lying about it, right?
Oh, like I said, like he did the same stuff that I did. Like he ran the business.
Yeah, but you were trying to conceal the truth.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I was concealing the truth, so I guess that would be lying, but I wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So so it's I'm not asking if you were telling a direct. You were basically misdirecting, right? And that's fine. So it's your manipulation plus subterfuge plus your misdirection specialty against Elliot's wits plus subterfuge or wits plus empathy, whichever is higher.
Maybe wits plus subterfuge.
And you have a specialization in lying, so you would get that as well.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's just a contested roll.
Sorry, I'm also going to pump willpower into it.
That's cool.
Of course you are. So manipulation, subterfuge, and my specialization.
And Vahilo, did you drag willpower out when you spent it before? on that
I
roll.
didn't spend willpower at all before. I didn't spend it before.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna have one die.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. One success for
Probably
Elliot.
1 success.
Did you add your extra one for your or your specialization?
No, I didn't.
So roll one more die.
Well, that could make a difference.
It might give you 2 successes, but it might give you a 10 and get 3. Who knows?
Back tens.
Put a slash. Roll
Just slash R
D20,
1d10.
1d10.
Yep, slash R 1d10. That'll do. Nope.
Nope.
Cool. So yeah, you're none. Yeah, he seems to. He didn't get into any detail. He was intentionally vague, but he wasn't necessarily. Didn't come across as he was intentionally concealing something. Just he didn't get
It's
into
only
it.
6. Unbelievable roll.
I know.
Terrible
I know.
roll.
You guys.
Well, my dad was in waste management, waste disposal. Like I didn't say what kind of waste it was. It was
Yep.
waste.
Exactly. Waste is waste.
Stuff people don't want. Whether
Approve.
it's like actual garbage or a body, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever. I just rolled. That's all.
A proof is a proof.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Anyways,
All right, there you guys are. What are you guys determining to do as the the day starts to get into dusk?
well, has the Volcus guy gives any instructions? How's he gonna get hold of us? Did he say anything?
He said basically that he would get a hold of you, that sort of thing.
Okay.
He knows where he knows how to find you. He knows where Vinnie's shop is. He knows where he knows how to find you if he needs to. He just wants to not scare Karen away, and he knows that you two are the ones that she'll trust. So,
Okay.
so
Good night. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go right ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask one of my contacts or allies here, Jim. Whether he can find information on people.
Okay, cool. So it's totally doable to get your allies to do things for you. And what that does is, hello allies. There we go. So essentially each dot represents a layer of influence. So asking a character, you can ask for a favor that adds up to your ally rating without a penalty. Okay. And so if you ask for beyond that, you have to kind of persuade them to do so. And so the sorts of things that that they can do is they can use their contacts or or stuff like that, their own stuff to get you information, or to or they can block somebody else's stuff. So you could ask him to get information. What sort of information do you want him to do?
Karen's family history.
Okay, so you want him to look into her family history. All right. And so basically to make use of his research skills. So let's see. That would seem a little weird to him doing that normally, but he seems actually rather eager to do so. And he totally agrees to do that. And he's going to go make a roll on that and see what he can find. So he'll look for a clue for you. You can still look for a clue. Yeah, you won't even have to roll for that one. He's willing to do that. That's totally within his ability as a 1 dot merit to make a check like that into something. So you can still do your own clue search as well. Is there another sort of thing that you wanted to look into?
Well, I don't know who this Volcus person is, but if it comes up in the history, because he said that he was her uncle.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd be interested if that name also pops up, whether that's just a bullshit lie. like, I don't know if I trust this Volcus guy completely yet.
Well, fair
right?
enough.
Even
Yeah.
though he helps help. So that'd be kind of information to also be pretty important
Yeah.
as well.
But what do you want to do? What does Elliot want to
And
do?
what does Elliot want to do?
Yeah. How does he want to find a clue? You were talking about that receipt.
Yeah, I was going to follow up on that receipt. And,
Okay.
the shop that she went to.
Okay. Cool. You know the mall that she used to like to go to, right?
Yep.
Cool. So that's where she would have gone. That's where this receipt is. It's in that mall, and so you'll have to travel there. You can either take the public transport. I don't know. Do you have a car? You know how to drive, but I don't think you have a car.
I don't have a car yet.
No. So you can get a ride from somebody, borrow somebody's car, however it is to get there. But that's where you would make the roll to find out. To try to get that clue.
Well, that was the receipt that I had found, so I'd go with them
Okay.
to see if there's anything more that we can find.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. Yeah. And your clue there.
Right, Mr. Rossi.
Sorry, I'm just trying. Elliot,
Well, maybe I'll give you the keys to drive.
Up to you, Mr. Rossi. I have no whatever. That's okay. Yeah, sure.
All right, cool.
Well, before everybody starts taking off,
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see if I could pull Elliot aside.
Uh-oh. It's a piece of me.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Hello.
Jesus. And just say, hey,
Hey.
I'm not gonna try and pump you for information here. Like,
Good.
that's not really my style. I just kind of need you to understand. I want to help you find Karen because I kind of empathize with your position, having been there, like myself, years ago. So,
You lost to Karen as well?
no.
Oh.
I was a kid once too. So,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I mean, thanks. You're really making this a whole lot easier. Massive points for roleplay today.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, aren't I?
Thanks for showing up. Yeah, no. It's a serious issue, so I better be plucky about it. Yeah. But
I remember I'm 17 then.
yep. Yeah, no. I appreciate the really sharp change in tone that you took here. So again, I understand not wanting to be, overly open about whatever you're going on. Just understand, like, from where I'm at, I'd rather help you find Karen if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about what you've got going on, but not so much that I'm willing to push, I guess. Like, I can stick with the trust game at this point, right? Like, you've not done anything to give me an indication that you're somebody I've got to keep an eye on.
Right. And
Like,
vice
at this point, you're just running out of loyalty. I understand that.
What? What do you mean I'm running out of loyalty?
No. You are running, like, on loyalty at this point.
Oh, I'm running. Oh, sorry. I misheard that.
Oh, sorry. I think I just phrased it incorrectly.
Like I said earlier, when you don't have much to lose, you have everything else to gain, right?
Do you trust this uncle? Because he was saying some shit that just...
Well, considering he chased me once, and now he's helping us, and he happened to be in the same place that we were looking at, it's quite coincidental. I'm not sure if I'm completely bought in, but
And
I want to say that. Well, I obviously want to help Karen in any means possible.
yeah, but Elliot, there's a timeline we have to look at here.
I'm aware.
No. Just hear me out. Hear me out. We find that woman in a heap, in a mangled heap.
Mm-hmm.
And how long after that did Volcus show up? And now he's saying that they've got some long-standing family blood feud bullshit going on.
No, I get you, but that woman shouldn't have got up.
I don't. I'm not arguing the point. You're right. But who's to say Volkus didn't do that?
You're saying he is like a necromancer?
I'm
Are we World of Warcrafting this right now?
no. I'm saying
Great game. We're
that
up to like 6 million people.
stop trying to get sponsored. Stop that.
Or LeBron. LeBron, you play. Let me know.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
What I'm saying is, he might have caused those injuries, her getting up.
He might have. But I didn't. Did you see any blood on this guy?
And if that's the case, that makes him kind of dangerous in his own right.
Yeah, I agree. Everything right now seems dangerous. We got people at the library trying to kill us. We got, people in a heap. Things are not obviously right. I get.
Hang on, I gotta check to make sure I can actually make this reference. Otherwise, I won't be able to.
Oh my god.
When did you get released?
Anyways, we probably should go. I really don't want to stick around. We can have this conversation in the car or something like that. It's fine.
No, we're going in different directions now.
But you know what? You're telling me how much I trust Volkus. Right?
No, I'm just trying to get a read of where you're at.
No, I get what you're saying, but you asked me earlier how much I trust this Volkus person, this uncle. Mm-hmm. I'm more curious about how much you trust this other guy.
Which other guy?
And I'm just gonna nod to Golgotha's character, Grayson.
And I'll kind of not side eye it. I'll figure out who he's referring to, and then just say, you know what? I've not known him long, but I think you guys would have some common ground when it comes to at least my perception on loyalty. He's not.
I don't think he's telling us everything at all,
and I don't think that's exactly a terrible thing necessarily.
Well, like I said, I want to be loyal to people, but I don't trust that guy. And plus, we both saw him nudge a dude off a fucking building
who fell and exploded into a meat suitcase full of rats.
He still nudged a guy off a building.
I understand.
A dude off a building. Just saying.
I know.
I know that was some weird stuff happened afterwards. I get it, but he's.
Let me. I'm not going to try and sell this guy to you in any way because you got to make your own assessments as a person. All I'm going to tell you is, oh, that's not great. I don't like that you're throwing that at me. All I can tell you is, before we even knew you existed, he and I went through some shit, and I'm happy to get into it. Obviously, we're heading out the door, so this isn't the moment. But he had a chance to bail and basically throw me to the wolves, and he didn't take it, which I kind of appreciate.
Fair enough.
So I'm not saying he's a stand-up guy. I'm not saying he's, the patron saint of people that hang out on buildings and totally don't push other people off buildings. It's St. Angelo, I think. But I mean, I'm happy enough to trust him, right? Now, you just don't have that experience yet, which fair enough. So I get where you're coming from because trust is kind of earned. But this is one of those things you also kind of have to give it some time. It's good that you're aware. It's good that you're, making these assessments because if you weren't, I'd be a little more worried about the thing. But
it's not hard to assess someone who murders another person.
Well,
that's not hard. Just throwing it out there.
You're not making a bad point here. All right.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna hop in the car now.
All right, so I'll see you, Elliot.
All right. So Elliot and Vinnie are going to head to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher and Grayson, where are you guys going?
I think we're heading back to the library.
Okay, to do some research.
Yep.
All right. And so you guys lock up the safe house at the garage there, get into your cars and go your separate ways. And we're going to call the end of this episode here. So thank you all for joining us. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Follow us along here, and we'll be happy to have you drop some comments below. I'm Magnum Pi, and I'm always here with Dark Templar, Vahilo, Teku, and Golgotha. And we are Initiative Zero.